Hello.
Look what happened to me.
Oh, Appalachian Mutt.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Good morning.
Morning.
How y'all doing?
Happy Saturday.
Happy
It is Saturday all day.
Yeah.
Every day. All day? Saturday? Yeah.
All day.
Let me do something real quick here. There we go. Hey, Betsy.
Hey.
Good morning. Murray Maloney wins the Winky button for today. He's
all right, Murray.
Murray. Hey, Lynette Jester, Lisa Gervais, Jory Johnson, Christine Miller, Mary Sleppy. Hey, Mary. Yeah, it's funny when you meet WikiTreeers out on the road, you get really connected to them. So, I think Mary's my new sister. Brian, you're late.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he even had to say I'm late. Of course you had to say you're late. Trisha's here. Trisha Underwood. Hey, Shelly. How are you? Dr. Shelly Murphy's here.
Ooh.
Yay. John Tyner's here. Let's see. D. Spencer Carr, June Butka, not baking any blueberry stuff though. D. Spencer Carr, Victor's here. Let's see, Susie Carta, Chris Ferriello is here. Let's see. Denise Jarrett's here. Hey, Denise. And let's see. Fibonacci. Yes, we love Fibonacci's around here. Yes, we do. Hillary Gatsby from the north of Wales, Trisha and Marie Carpenter. Eowyn. Hey, Eowyn. Hey. What is it? I was listening to an audiobook and lost track of time. You're here in time, Hillary.
Yeah.
You're forgiven.
You made it.
You're on time.
I am going to say good morning, and then I'm going to throw it over to Betsy Coe.
All right. We are mixing it up this morning.
Yes.
Because I have to get to school an hour earlier than usual.
It's so funny that she's still in school, y'all. Just when you learn everything you need to know, Betsy.
Yeah, that's
right. So a little update on the photos. So there was a delay on getting the G2G post and the free space page up, but those will be in place in about 2 hours, I would guess. And so when you see my weekly G2G post about the about next week's livecast, it'll have so
see that? Good job on the name. I just want to point that out to you guys.
Oh.
On the name, I'm sorry.
I pronounced somebody's name correctly. I'm not going to pronounce it again because I might butcher it this time.
Nice.
It's one of the things we try to do here in the morning.
That's right.
We try.
Not butcher names.
So we will look at favorite photos next week, and we'll still have 3 Saturdays to look at favorite photos. So get them ready. So we have 2 ancestors to celebrate. And I'm going to quickly go over to the first one. Okay. So this is Ruth Jowett, and let me make it a little bigger for you. Ruth Jowett's 3rd great grandfather, who has 2 links to the month of December. He died in December, and also he had his first marriage to her 3rd great grandmother in December. So there's a little bit of a story here. So he married Martha Fuson in St. Mary's Parish Church in Hull on the 12th of December, 1841, by license. And they both claimed to be of full age, but it seems that this was not true. So both James and Martha signed the register and their witnesses signed, but then there was another marriage ceremony at the end of April, this time following the publication of bans. And this time both correctly declared that they were minor. So they came clean, and a different set of witnesses. And they had quite a number of children. 9 children. Ruth is her line goes through Lucinda, and he worked as a draper's clerk, and then later as a traveling salesman. selling wines and spirits.
Mm.
Very sadly, in the early hours of December 29th, 1866, his wife, Martha, found him unconscious at home. She couldn't rouse him. Help came, but they couldn't revive him. It was found that he had taken opium, which was available as a medicine at that time. So, so there is James. Thank you, Ruth, for telling us about him. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So please give us more ancestors to celebrate for next week. Our second one for today is Teresa Thompson. And this is Linda Body's mother. And her mother, that's as big, the profile is a certain privacy level. That's as big as I can show it. But her mother was born on...
You're not sharing your screen now.
Oh, I'm not?
No.
What happened?
I think when you close down James.
Oh, that happened to me. I wonder if there's like something different in StreamYard now. Because that used not to happen.
They have it set up that you can either share a window, share a tab, or share a screen. So you have to pick, there's tabs across the top. You have to pick the right one of those.
Okay. All right. I'll practice. I'll get it right for next time.
Here we go. There's Teresa.
So there's Teresa Ann Thompson. And she was born on Christmas Day in 1933. She believed that her older sisters were allowed to name her, and they chose Teresa Ann because they were studying St. Teresa of Avila in Catholic school. However, when Linda was doing her family tree, she discovered that her mother's great-grandfather had been married to a first wife and had 2 children by that wife. This wife and the 2 little children died, and then her great-grandfather subsequently remarried the woman who was Linda's great-grandmother. And the first wife was named Teresa Ann. So just one of those little coincidence, serendipity.
That's one of those things that makes you go,
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So thank you, Linda. Thank you for sharing. Now, our tip of the week this week. Okay, I've gotten to the right one.
I love that you have a free space page that shows all of your tips of the week. That is very cool, Betsy.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is a pretty good model of what I want to talk about, which is what happens when you have a long free space page like this one is getting to be. First of all, you can see I've got a table of contents, which I can see or not see. But then if I say I want to edit one of these particular sections, instead of going just into overall edit and scrolling down to find it, which can get a little taxing on the eyes, I have these internal edit marks, which if I click, it's just going to take me to editing that particular section. So now I am going to go to overall edit mode. And so this is I give credit to Aowen for this, because when I started this free space page, she said it's going to get long. You should have a table of contents so that people can quickly get to what they're interested in. And then as well, it gives this edit feature. So the key is just what we're all used to seeing on our profiles that we work on, these 2 equal signs on either side, which creates the heading, and in a free space page will also create the internal edit option. Now, if you decide, this is a helpful thing that I learned not too long ago. If you decide that you don't want to see the table of contents, you can do this. You can do underscore twice and then NOTOC for no table of contents. Now I'm going to save that, go back to the page, and there's no it's gone.
Oh,
now
no.
I'll put it, don't worry, I'll put it back. So
the organizer in me says, oh no, once you get to a certain point, aren't you going to put them into like categories unto themselves? Like
maybe by year.
Yeah, or well, I was thinking less by year because you want people who would find stuff like
right,
stuff involving personal profiles, stuff involving space pages, stuff involving biographies, stuff involving searching for things. I don't know.
You just gave me my project for the winter break. Thank you. I'll tweak it.
All right, cool.
Neat.
Well, and the reason Betsy's going first is she said she had to go back to school. What are you doing at school today that you have to be there early? Are you molding young minds?
Today is the big end of the semester concert day, and so my flute quartet, the Purple Hippopotami, that I usually coach from 12 to 2, they have a dress rehearsal and a concert that overlap, so I had to put them from 11 to 1.
There you go. You're going to go play with some purple hippopotamus. Now, if people were walking in and didn't know anything, they would think this is a really strange show for Saturday morning. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Do you know why? Did I explain why they're named that?
I don't think you've done it on the show.
There are 7 syllables in purple hippopotami, and it's a good way to count septuplets. Hippopotami, purple hippopotami, purple hippopotami.
And well, there you go. So if I had 7 children, would I name them purple hippopotami?
No, I assume you would like them more than that. Don't you?
Well, I have 3 children and they are not named that. So
very cool. Now, is Santa going to show up at your concert?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The school is big enough that there were band concerts last night, and today there are orchestra concerts and choir concerts. It's like a whole 30-hour extravaganza with some naps interspersed. So I'm not involved in the concerts today.
No. Yeah. But I think the point was, are you going to get to see Santa?
Or are there going to be elves involved?
I hope so. It's very LiveCast.
Because wait a second.
Look at her. She's leaving. Okay.
Because the Secret Santa elves post has gone up.
I got it.
Who's messing with my stuff?
That was me. Sorry, I was trying to make a little segue and then pass it back to you. Meg.
Gotcha. There you go. Go for it, Greg. Go for it.
I was just going to say, because if elves are showing up at your concert, they could maybe volunteer to be WikiTree elves. Because this morning, the post went up for Elves Wanted for the Secret Santa 2023 challenge. I'm sorry.
That is so
totally
funny.
Without telling any of my co-hosts what I was planning on doing. I just saw a segue and I ran with it.
We talk about it beforehand, and then that's okay. No, it's Saturday morning and no rules apply.
No rules. It's chaos.
Really.
It's total chaos.
All right, cool.
Sorry,
tell us what this is about, Greg.
Okay, so if this is your first year in WikiTree, and welcome. I hope you're enjoying the community. But the last couple of years, we've actually had a special challenge that happens around this time of year, and it's called the WikiTree Secret Santa. So there's 2 posts that went up on GGG. I'm showing you the current, the Elves Wanted one. So people. On the other post, if you make a WikiTree wish, so if you have you've done some research and you're sort of stuck, so maybe it's a brick wall, or maybe you're not so much you're stuck, it's that you're trying to research this, where this family came from, and you have records for them in Canada or the US, but you don't have them from the home country, or there's a place that your family's from, but you don't have the background or the knowledge of how to investigate in that area. You can make a wish on the GGG post, and I'll just show you that right here, actually. And you just have to click answer this post. Oh, we've already got one. Oh, that's a Clark wish. Look at that.
It's a what? Oh, it's a Clark.
It's a Clark. It's not
you
my
paid somebody to do that.
Yeah, I didn't. Tia did that. All right, Tia. So you just make a wish, and there's 3 rules, just like the genie of the lamp. You can't you can't kill anybody, but you can ask for death records. You can't make anyone fall in love, but you could ask for marriage records or children, and no wishing for more wishes. Just 1 wish per WikiTree. And as we solved 34 of these wishes last year, so we didn't solve every single one of them, because some of these wishes are true brick walls, and if it's a WikiTreeer asking for it, sometimes we have very experienced WikiTreeers, and if it's an experienced WikiTreeer asking for help, then it's not going to be it may not be an easy piece of cake request.
Deep.
Yeah, they could be deep. But I mean, we have amazing WikiTreeers, and they have solved some of those deep problems. So don't let that scare you off.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a fresh pair of eyes.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. But I do want to say, if your wish doesn't get fulfilled, every wish will be looked at and by at least 1 or 2 people. So, we're going to do our best. And in many cases, if they didn't solve it, they've added research notes of things that they've tried that worked or didn't work, or maybe other avenues if you have more time to look up on. So there's lots of that. But so that's making the wish. And then if you want to help out, then you have to sign up and say you'll be an elf. And so that would be great. And so we have 2 weeks to sign up, to post your wishes and to sign up to be an elf. And then the kickoff will be after the December 23rd live roundup livecast at 12 noon Eastern time. There'll be a Zoom call with all of the elves. We're going to get together and we're going to strategize. And the challenge, the work will happen between December 23rd to January 5th. And then on the Saturday livecast roundup is going to be taken over by Santa's elves, because on the January 6th, it's going to be a real epiphany.
A real what?
Epiphany.
He was just waiting for that.
And we will show at 10 o'clock on that Saturday, the January 6th, the results.
So now, for those of us who aren't Catholic, you may want to explain that.
Well, January 6th is the Feast of the Epiphany, when the 3 wise men arrived. But epiphany in the dictionary also means a revelation or an understanding. So it's a double entendre.
That's so fun.
I know. So there's the Secret Santa, and I believe my 2 my 2 fellow lead elves, Christine Daniels and Kathy Nava, are in the chat. So say hi to them. And
the first year that we did this, Kathy ran with it.
Yeah, she went nuts. It was great.
We talked about it. It started in the live cast.
It did, yeah.
And Kathy
it was your idea
in the live cast, and she ran with it. So that's great.
Yeah. And there's a Discord channel, a special Discord channel for Secret Santa. So when you sign up to be an elf, you'll be added to that channel. And anyways, a lot of fun. So back to regularly scheduled programming. Oh, wait a second. I was supposed to put on my Santa hat while I was making that announcement.
Oh my gosh,
I had this here all this time. Anyways.
Now you can't take it off.
Well, okay, I'll get sparkles all over it. Well, I can leave it on now.
You have sparkles on your Santa hat.
There's sparkles on this. Look at how sparkly it is. But they all fall off. So I think I'm going to take it off.
There you go.
Julie's hat, actually. So.
Before I say goodbye, can I just put something in the chat for tomorrow? We have the second new member Q&A via Zoom at 11 Eastern Standard Time. And we have lots of new members. I'm noticing we had a very big group on Thursday. So if you are a new member, you know a new member. Mm-hmm. You're a not so new member, just come and hang out with me. And Steve Greenwood and Hillary Gatsby, who are
nice.
Yeah. So, all right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Betsy. Have fun with your hippopotami.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, doggy. My Packers elf hat on. So, see, you started a fashion.
I started it now, yes.
So, Victor says, wait, Eastern Orthodox, you're not on the right schedule for him. So,
yeah.
How about
Sorry, I just
question of the week. You're so funny, man. You're so funny doing that. Question of the week. Wait, yes. I'm on the wrong page on my
What words of
screen.
wisdom?
There we go.
I see what words of wisdom.
There we go. Woo! All right. No, I'm still on the wrong screen. Oh, I gotta fix this real quick. Sorry, folks.
Okay.
Greg, boy, you just rattled
I'm sorry.
my
I've just thrown you for the.
You did. There we go. Because I have to be able to see what I'm doing. Question of the week. Woo! What words of wisdom have been passed down in your family? Do you have any words of wisdom?
Any words of wisdom? I don't know. Always do your work to do your best. You know.
Yeah, well, then people talk about that. A lot of them are repeats, and a lot of them aren't. I was looking to see if some of the stuff that my grandmother used to say was on, and because she used to say some unusual stuff, and so somebody actually says one of my grandmother's weird ones. She had a.
Oh, you went muted.
I went muted. How did I get muted?
Oh, there we go. Now you're back.
Oh. No, I was taking my shirt off. So
yeah.
Finally...
Okay.
She used to say in her voice, "We don't do that in our family." Like, what? Do we have rules about what?
Yeah.
All right. So the question of the week is, do you have any things passed down? And I want to point out that this is not working correctly. Okay, so maybe this one will work. I'm going to stop sharing because my stuff has gone catarwonky on me.
Oh, no.
How did you do all of this, Greg? I blame it on Greg.
Yeah, it's me.
Question of the week. There we go. All right. So 52 answers this week. I want to point out, and it's not, I'm not doing it. So here we go. No. There you go. As you're actually added a section at the bottom of the question of the week, there's the question.
Look at that.
Added a section that if you want to spread the word about the question of the week, make sure you say they're going to talk about it on Saturday morning.
Yes.
At 10. 10. Yeah. What time is it? Boy, you got me miscombobulated, man. Treat people the way you want them to treat you. Never make someone a priority who makes you an option. Ooh. Pay your bills and stay out of debt. Pursue hobbies and interests outside of work.
Interesting.
And along with that one, I've heard that when you retire, stay busy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That wasn't a problem for me.
You don't have that problem.
I do not have that problem.
No, you don't. You don't. I'm amazed at you. You're like the Energizer battery, Greg. It will feel better when it quits hurting, and crying makes it worse. I don't know about that one. When seeking advice, don't ask someone who is going to do something. Ask someone who has already done it. I agree and disagree. Sometimes if somebody's never done something, they don't have preconceived notions. I don't know. Good things come to those who wait. It's usually leftovers.
Those who hustle.
For those of us.
Those are very interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was taught from a young age that if you don't ask, you don't get. But when you do ask, do so respectfully and politely. Like Oliver, please, sir, can I have some more? Also, and if you do ask politely, does a full symphony start and people start to sing?
That's right.
If we had a little knock, we were told that a little bit of pain never hurt anyone. Be nice and make sure we be nice and respectful and upvote these fine answers.
Yeah.
If we have a little knock, we were told a little bit of pain never hurt anyone. Be nice and respectful to people on your way up because you may need their help on your way back down.
Yes, I've heard.
Finally, never say I can have. Instead, say I may have. I had an English teacher in high school who was my homeroom teacher all 4 years of my high school. So I saw her every day of my life.
Wow.
All the way through high school. And she was really fanatic about can and may.
Can and may, yes.
Yeah. From Girl Scouts, leave a place better than you found it.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Boy Scouts also, and then there's some good little conversations going on about that.
Nice.
Let me go over to my next one. Let's see, share this tab instead. See, I'm messed up and didn't have this set up correctly for my screen. Aunt Gladys, I want gets nothing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Trust but verify. I noticed that we've got some stuff popping up. June says, go forward with grace and harmony is mom's word of wisdom.
That's nice.
Aunt Wendy, never let the mere truth get in the way of a good story. I like that one a lot. I like to embellish that stuff.
That's right.
Nice. Grandma didn't just sit in a chair. Grandma sat down in a rickety old chair that my great granddaddy built back in.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mina, whoever Mina is, I'd rather be an example to my grandchildren than an example for them. That's never.
So
what is this?
I think
never put 2 pounds of poop in a 1 pound bag.
Oh, that is just gross to imagine.
Yeah, Ben Gorley Sr. She even like, I hope Ben is still around. You should get him to come by and see that we just talked about that. Shane.
Oh my goodness.
From mom, walking, doing, bending, stretching, vim, vigor, fitness.
Ooh.
From dad, when in doubt, look it up. When unhappy, look up something new or something loved. That works.
Interesting.
Let's jump over to this one. From my great-grandmother, this is Eric Weddington. Always buy a good bed and a pair of shoes. You'll always be in one or the other. What about a coffin?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the end. The crib, I guess that's the bed. I guess a coffin's a bed too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pass this one down to my kids and grandkids when they won't speak up to tell me what they want. You snooze, you lose. Don't give past failures a second glance. Yeah. I'm waiting for the one to come up that my grandma used to always say. Oh, and of course we have to have, thank you, Jacqueline. La patete, which means don't drop the potato. Is that a French saying? Have you ever heard that, Greg?
I don't know.
I haven't either. I imagine it sounds like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a French part of our family is French, and I can hear them saying like that
neat.
kind of thing. Yeah. From my maternal grandmother, always put a clean pair of underwear on every day. You never know when you'll end up in the hospital. Okay, so there's another answer here where the person says that when they got picked up after an accident, they were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, could not stop laughing all the way to the hospital because I made my grandma proud.
Oh, that's good. I put on fresh.
And then my other thought is I have been in a horrible accident. And I can tell you from that experience that if you're in a really horrible accident, having clean underwear on does not matter because you're going to mess them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. But my grandmother used to say that all the time,
yeah.
all the time. And slip $20 into your pocket.
Oh
yeah. For my grandma, for my mother, did not live.
Can you change the page, Megs? We're still seeing a couple of screens ago. We still see the you snooze, you lose. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Victor is saying would like to be buried in a plain pine box or wicker basket.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about your coffin. Yeah.
And then Brian's telling a story over here. Yes. Can't go to the bathroom, to which I replied, I don't know. Let me get my stopwatch out. Okay, anyway. Talking about a work experience. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. And I had a supervisor who told me, and I used this saying recently in a meeting with friends, that if you don't make mistakes, you'll never learn.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Let me bop on over to another page here. Oops. Okay. Or I can just stop. I think I'm done.
Are you done?
I'm done. You go.
I'm sorry, man.
There's lots more that are just very, very If you can't make ends meet, make one of them a potato.
What?
Yeah.
Make
that
them
was
a
from
potato?
David Richter. Our
That's weird.
conduct should be our coat of arms.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. Yeah. So
interesting.
Never eat yellow snow.
No snow. Yes. That is good advice. Yes. Well, the profiles of the week, because of the recent Pearl Harbor anniversary, is which World War II hero are you most closely connected to? So these are very interesting profiles. They all have very interesting stories, and except for one of them, I think they were all new to me.
Oh, I was going to say only one of them has a boring story.
No. Only one of the profiles is someone I'd heard of before, or knew the story of before. So cool. Very interesting. So the first one is Doris Miller, and I had to do a double take because I just presumed with a name like Doris, I presumed it was going to be a woman's, but it's not. It's a man. Doris, he went by Dory. Born the 12th of October 1919 in Waco, Texas, and he passed away on the 24th of November 1943 at only 24 in the Pacific Ocean. But he is part of the U.S. Black History Project because he was a U.S. Navy sailor, and he was the very first African American to be awarded the Navy's highest honor.
The story is just fabulous.
Yes, yeah. So he was in Pearl Harbor when it was under attack that day. He was on the ship, I think it was the USS West Virginia. It was struck by Japanese bombers in Pearl Harbor, and he was a cook and worked in the mess attendant. He helped carry wounded men off the deck to get them safely below during the attack, including his captain. And then he went up and grabbed a machine gun to start firing back at the Japanese bombers.
What a great story.
Yeah. And so he was awarded the Navy Cross for that, presented to him by Admiral Chester Nimitz. And there's a picture of him receiving the cross.
Didn't they just name a boat?
They named a boat after him too. Yeah. Yeah. So distinguished devotion. He was, despite enemy strafing and bombing in the face of serious fire, assisted in moving his captain, who had been mortally wounded, to a place of greater safety, and later manned and operated a machine gun directed at enemy Japanese attacking aircraft until ordered to leave the bridge. So he became renowned and was brought home. He was even put on posters to promote war bonds, but sadly, he did not last the war because he died along with his shipmates on the USS Liscombe Bay, which was an escort carrier during the Battle of Macon in 1943. So that's sad that he passed away, but what a legacy.
Talk about being a good person.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice.
Yeah, and he was an aircraft carrier was named after him, and he was the first African American that one of those had been named for. So that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, very good, very impressive. Then we have Margaret Irene Anderson O'Brien, and she's from Australia, born the 11th of December 1915 in Melbourne, which is in Victoria State, Australia, and passed away at the age of 79 on 16th of July 1995 in Frankston, Victoria. So she was the firstborn daughter of Charles Anderson and Jessie Urquhart, known as Madge in her family, and she was a nurse. She finished her nursing training in Heidelberg, Victoria, and soon after completed a massage certificate. In 1941, she was commissioned as a staff nurse in the Australian Army Nursing Service. And then she was transferred from the militia to the 2nd Australian Imperial Force for overseas service. And so she went to work in Singapore. And then just 4 days before the fall of the fortress, she was one of a party of nurses who had to board the cargo ship to be evacuated before it was finally attacked. So she was on the MV Empire Star. Then the next day, another ship took the Viner Brook, took the rest of the nurses. Unfortunately, that one did not fare well, and most people on that either died at sea or were massacred later. So she was lucky to get out on the one she was. And the Empire Star that she was on really only had accommodation for 16 passengers, but with all the personnel there, the nurses and the wounded. There was 2,100 people on that boat.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Bet it was riding low in the water.
Wow. But it was also attacked during its journey. And during that, she was helping move patients back and forth. And at one point, she threw herself across a patient to protect him from bullets. Can you imagine that? So many witnessed her actions, commended her for bravery, and for that, she actually was awarded the George Medal in September 1942 for bravery.
Is that what GM is for her postnomial?
I'm wondering. Yeah, George Medal. I think so. Okay. I could be wrong, but I think that's probably what the GM is. So, and then she was promoted. She received a commendation for that. She was Staff Nurse Anderson, and then she became Lieutenant Anderson during the war. And then she continued working with the sick afterwards, when she after the war was over. She was placed on the reserve officers, and she won a number of awards here. The Pacific Star, Italy Star, British War Medal, Australia Service Medal, and anyways, and passed away in 1995. So quite a remarkable person. Another remarkable person would be Margaret Osla Benning. She was a Canadian debutante who worked at Bletchley Park decoding messages and was Prince Philip's first girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
So, but this was before he met Elizabeth officially.
He met Elizabeth when he was like...
Yes. Oh, that's right.
16 or something like that, right?
So well, yeah, but they didn't actually, I don't know, when did they started dating? I don't know.
Well, she met him when she was young. I do know that. That's
true. Yeah. So they wouldn't have dated that
no.
early. No. Yes, that's right. They did meet early.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both descended from Queen Victoria, so.
Some family gathering.
Some family gathering they would have been at, yes. So this Margaret, daughter of James William Benning and Edith Black, was born and baptized in Montreal, Quebec. Yeah. So she worked, she helped build Hurricane fighter planes as part of the war effort. And she worked at Bletchley Park. So that's the place where they had the decoder. They were trying to decode all the messages, right? So that where the cryptographers worked and the coders and the ciphers. So the government code and cipher school.
That's one of those Canada moments. They have these things that they show on TV every now and then that are like Canada moments where they show this really weird, interesting bit of history of Canada just in the middle of where there should be a commercial.
Yeah.
And one of them is about Bletchley Park being so unassuming that everybody figured, hey, that's a great place to hide all of our spy people.
Yeah, that's right. So Lord Mountbatten mentioned to his friend that that Prince Philip, so Lord Mountbatten, it was Prince Philip's uncle, that he didn't have a girlfriend, and that's how she got introduced to him. And so some claim that's why she was the first girlfriend. But anyway, but because of her work during decoding, that makes her not necessarily a spy, but definitely a war hero for that. And apparently there was a novel about Bletchley Park, and there was one character that was based on her.
Yay.
Yay. So that's neat. And then we went from Philip's first girlfriend, at least supposedly, to his mother. Nope, that's not the mother there.
Nope.
Nope, that is, wait a second.
Victoria, Alice, Elizabeth.
No. Yes, this is her. Is that not? Is that? Yeah, that's his mother. That's Prince Philip's mother, Princess Alice. Princess Alice of Battenberg, born in Windsor Castle.
Yeah,
great grandmother. What's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Did I have the wrong one up?
Yeah, you had it right, but the wrong Victoria. So Victoria, it's his great grandmother, right? Queen Victoria is her great grandmother or his great grandmother, something like that. They're connected.
They're both. Queen Victoria is the both of theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
so
this isn't Queen Victoria.
This is Princess Alice, but Victoria is just one of her names, right? Victoria, Alice, Elizabeth, Julia, Maria Battenberg of Greece. So she is actually, if we take a look at it here, she shares the mitochondrial DNA of Queen Victoria, because the connection is all through the mother's line. Her mother Victoria and her mother Alice, and then there's Queen Victoria right there.
Murray's straightening us out on this. She is the granddaughter of Victoria. Here we go.
No,
I think it's great granddaughter.
It's great granddaughter. There's Princess
look,
Alice.
You said oops.
Yeah. I
thought it was great grand.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting that she's related, but it's a pure mitochondrial, a pure.
It is. It is.
That's kind of neat.
And don't we have Philip's mitochondrial? Because
that would have been descended from her, right?
Used in helping to identify the Tsars family.
The Tsars, yes.
Yeah, I think I got to remember what we need to go over to FTDNA and look at their Discover tool and looking through and see who it was. I bet they have that information.
Well, there's the MT. There we go. Philip's mitochondrial DNA connection is there, and there's Alexandra Feodorovna Romanov.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. There's your answer right there.
Bing.
Boom. And we can do a comparison on MitoY DNA.
There you go. You can do that comparison on MitoY.
Yeah. Very cool.
Oh, you should just go and do it.
You want me to do it?
Just do it.
Okay. You would click on compare, and then click on this compare, and then we hit compare there.
Are you logged in?
I will be shortly. And there it is.
There it is. 0. Blow that up some, please.
Oh, right. So mitoydna.org is a place where you can post or share your Y-DNA and your mitochondrial DNA results. Sort of like GEDmatch, but for Y-DNA and mitochondrial DNA. If you're not,
you can do that straight from the integration that with WikiTree on the profile, which is what he just did. But it shows that there are different.
There is a different, yeah. So
gotcha.
Why are they different? Why are their haplogroups off by that?
Because the top one is higher in the tree, and the lower one is still a part of that branch, but it's a different. It's segmented off. It's subclades of that branch.
But is it still close enough to call it a match?
No.
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 She
has a lot more of, or the second profile has more, because it's lower down in the tree, it has more insertions and deletions in the HPR1 and 2. And you can also see in the coding regions, there's 7, even though that isn't publicly displayed. MitoY still gives you the information on what the coding regions are. So, and that's at 7.
Interesting.
So there's a significant difference between those two. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting question that I think I want to look into more. How far down the tree and how many years apart and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, we took a little.
That was cool.
That was a very cool little detour there. So how is Princess Alice, who's Prince Philip's mother, and great-granddaughter of Queen Victoria herself, how is she a war hero? Well, as it turns out, she married, her husband was Andrew of Oldenburg, who was from Germany, I believe. Prince Andrew, from Germany. And they had 4 daughters and a son. Of course, the son is Philip. The husband had left her and apparently was unfaithful. And sadly, Alice did not fare well. She suffered a nervous breakdown after that. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia. She was briefly in a sanatorium. So she had a really hard time. The 4 daughters all got married to German princes, and Prince Philip was sent to England to be cared for by his uncle. So that explains his close relationship with his uncle, Lord Mountbatten, because he took care of him during that formative time. During World War II, Alice had moved to Athens. She was living in downtown Athens, and that's where she saved a Jewish widow and 2 of her children from the death camps by hiding them in the top floor of her house. Sheltered them for more than a year. And then by the end of the war, her husband had died. She returned to England to attend her son's wedding to Queen Elizabeth. And then she joined a religious order, a Greek Orthodox religious order, the Christian Sisterhood of Martha and Mary, which was a nursing order. And so she attended the coronation of Queen Elizabeth in her gray nun's habit, which I thought was interesting. Then the Greek family was expelled because of a military coup from Greece. And as she was part of the Greek royal family, she had to leave. And that's where she went to Buckingham Palace and lived the last couple of years of her life with Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, where she died in 1969. But she was honored as a war hero and given the title "Righteous Among the Nations," and so for having hidden that family in her house. And yeah, so after the fact, that was acknowledged. So she had a hard life. She had some difficult times. So the interesting thing, and then somewhere here, she was buried. She wanted to be buried in Jerusalem, so her remains were transferred to a crypt in near the church in Gethsemane on the Mount of Olives. I thought that's neat.
That's interesting.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Moving on, Henri Estienne d'Orvre. Okay, I think Vinny just recognizes that someone came home. You heard the little bark. So Henri was born in 1901 in Verrières-le-Buisson in Saint-Rémy in France, and passed away in 1941, only at the age of 40, in Suresnes in Seine. He was born to an old aristocratic family in Provence, graduated from 2 prestigious military schools, married in 1929. He was an officer in the French Navy at the beginning of the World War II. He refused the defeat of France and joined de Gaulle in London. And then he was offered and accepted the direction of the naval forces of Free France. So he was part of the resistance. He crossed the channel to organize a resistance network called Nimrod, which gathered precious information on the defensive forces. Unfortunately, he was betrayed by a member of the network and was arrested, sentenced to death, and then executed with 2 of his fellow resistance. So that's sad. But he is at a memorial. He is memorialized now at a memorial of French resistance. Someone else who resisted during the war is Einar Korsvik Rasmussen, who was from Norway. Born the 1st of July, 1895 in Flekkefjord, Vest-Agder in Norge. And he died in 1942 at age 46 in Oslo. So he was a Norwegian telegraph operator and resistance organizer during World War II. He was known for helping establish both the civil resistance and the military intelligence operations in opposition to the Nazi occupation of Norway. I didn't actually realize that the Nazis had occupied part of Norway during the war. Didn't realize they'd gotten that far. So that was news to me. So he was born in Flekkefjord, and his father was a telegraphist as well. He got married in 1928, and then at the beginning of the war, he worked for the Telegraph Board in Oslo. And then the Germans began pressuring the Norwegian parliament to depose the king, give them more power, and he wrote a letter of objection to that. The Germans are in power today, they can do as they please. That's no shame to us. But if we start, if it is being, assault does not break a people, but betrayal can poison them. So he didn't want the government to betray the people. He was involved in illegally distributing newspapers during the occupation. And then the thing that got him in trouble was in 1942, another Norwegian resistance member traveled back and forth between Norway and England. And he was the first one to actually parachute into the country. Like he, on his way back from England, I guess he jumped out of a plane and parachuted into Norway. And Einar, our profile guy, hid him in his apartment. But the police came in and wanted to take him away. This is Starheim, the person who parachuted in. And he said, well, I just have to use the bathroom. And they thought, oh, well, he can't get out. But they didn't know that a pile of clothes was hiding a sneak exit through the bathroom. So he escaped through the window, but Einar, not so quick. He was taken away for helping and aiding and abetting. And sadly, he was tortured. He was integrated for information. But he decided that in order to avoid giving up his contacts, so he figured, I guess he was worried that if they kept this torture, that he was going to give up people's names. So to avoid doing that, he took his own life instead of giving up people's names. That's
some kind of sacrifice.
That is, yeah, indeed. So lots of interesting stories this week with all these programs. Yeah. Nancy Grace Augusta Wake forward, ACGM. So there's that GM again.
Yeah.
George Medal, maybe. So she's from New Zealand, born on the 30th of August, 1912, Roseneath, Wellington, New Zealand. She was a British agent during World War II. She became a leading figure in the French resistance, Résistance française. While she worked, she saved the lives of numerous refugees and Allied airmen. She was one of the Allies' most decorated servicewomen of the Second World War, and the Gestapo's most wanted person. They had a 5 million franc price on her head.
Wow.
They called her the White Mouse.
The White Mouse.
Yeah. There she is. Yeah. She has some interesting quotes. You know, I like a good quote.
Well, yeah. We have some good quotes already today.
I don't see why we women should just wave our men a proud goodbye and then knit them balaclavas.
Well, in Canada, you would understand
that. I have only one thing to say. I killed a lot of Germans, and I'm only sorry I didn't kill more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she wasn't.
She didn't hold back.
Yeah, I was never afraid. I was too busy to be afraid. I was not a very nice person, and it didn't put me off my breakfast. Wow. Anyway, so she did marry. She did get married, and she ran away from home at 16. Started working as a nurse, and then she got a windfall of money. She traveled the world, traveled Europe, began working as a journalist, and one of her first assignments was to interview Adolf Hitler.
Really?
Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah. So she actually met and interviewed Adolf Hitler. But here's a quote that she's, the stormtrooper said, "This is horrible. They tied Jewish people up to massive wheels, and they were rolling the wheels along and whipping the Jews. I stood there and thought, I don't know what I'll do about it, but if I can do anything one day, I will."
Wow.
I always had that picture in mind. So
this was something that was going on right in front of her when she went to talk to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How
so
horrible.
This was back in the so this was 32.
Yeah.
Right. So right at the beginning of the persecution. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So she had a rationale for doing what she did in terms of the resistance and helping people out and whatnot.
I guess that really pissed her off.
It did. Apparently that was a very formative moment for her.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah. Anyways, the profile goes on and on. This is really interesting. So I would recommend people check this out. And let me just, okay, Vinny, off you go. See.
Only on Saturday morning do you get to watch the doorman at Greg.
Yeah, Carlton, your doorman. Anyway, very interesting. The White Mouse. Wow. Most wanted.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that cool? That's very cool. Then we have Neil Salvador. Neil Adams, formerly Salvador, also known as McQueen or Toffel. So she was another spy. Wow, we've got lots of spies. World War II spy in the Philippines and an actress, singer, and dancer. So get this, she was born in 32. So if you do the math, you know when the First World War was, thinking, what? How's that possible? She was a preteen. And in between between the time she was 10 and 13, as a teenager. She served as a spy for the Philippine resistance, and she just ran messages back and forth.
Wow, I can understand that. You wouldn't suspect a cute little girl running around.
Cute little girl. Who's gonna? Yeah. So
What's
she
in
ran
your bag.
messages.
Oh, just some secrets.
Yeah. There we go. So, but Neil Adams later, then she moved after the war in 48. She moved to the United States. She became a dancer. You can see, and an actress, and she married Steve McQueen.
Really?
Yes. Yes. There we go.
That's
and
fun.
If you do a search on YouTube for Neil Adams, because I did a search because I wondered, like, how do you pronounce her name Neil, or is it Nellie or Neely? It's Neil. There's this one. The first YouTube video that pops up is this. Who's two guys looking at a poster. Who is Neil Adams? Oh well, let me show you. And then it comes out, and she's performing. Anyways, it's kind of fun. But there we go. Neil Adams, 10-year-old spy. Then we have Raoul Gustav Wallenberg, who's a distant cousin, but from Stockholm. Born the 4th of August, 1912 in Lidingö, Stockholm, in Sweden, and died in 47 in Moscow. And he was also designated righteous among the nations for helping more than 100,000 Jews survive during the Holocaust.
Good on you.
Yeah. He served his compulsory military service after high school and went to school in Paris to study architecture. He continued studies in Michigan and the U.S., hitchhiked across North America. And then, interesting, in 1941, he watched the film Scarlet Pimpernel, and that inspired him to help people escape from the Nazis. Now, I haven't watched that film, so I'm not sure what is the show's about. That
I have watched it, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
Okay. So I'm not sure what part of the plot was an inspiration, but it worked, because then he's stationed in Hungary. He was the first secretary to the Swedish diplomatic mission. And because of that diplomatic mission, he was able to do it. So he purchased buildings in Budapest and declared them Swedish diplomatic property. So that means they couldn't be, invaded or searched. And so he was able to secure them as safe houses for Jews that were fleeing the Nazis. He issued passports to Hungarian Jews to help them get out of Hungary. He actually physically handed out passports to Jews who had already been arrested or in the middle of death marches.
Wow. The novel, The Scarlet Pimpernel, is set during the Reign of Terror following the start of the French Revolution. The title is the nom de guerre of its hero and protagonist, a chivalrous Englishman who rescues aristocrats before they are sent to the guillotine.
Oh.
So that makes sense.
Yes.
I also, in the back of my mind, I keep thinking about, why haven't we given a medal to Harriet Tubman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that interesting thought? I keep, as we're talking about these heroes and what they did, I'm thinking about, American history. Why haven't we, why isn't there a medal on her chest? Anyway.
Exactly. That's a good point. So he saved lots of people. And sadly, the diplomatic immunity only went so far, and he himself was arrested by the Soviets for conspiring with the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he saved lots of people, but he was taken off to Russia after the war, and he was in a Soviet jail, and either died in 45, if one radio station was right, or more likely in 57, or more likely 47, that he was killed.
This is fascinating studying this. This is just really fascinating.
Yeah. So there's a couple notes that 47 seems a more likely date that he was executed when he was in Lubyanka, but they're not exactly sure. So that's kind of interesting. But it's sad that he did not end. His life did not end happily that way. But man, what a good stuff. Susan Cuddy. Okay, was born in 1915 in Los Angeles and died on 24th of June, 2015 at the age of 100, a centenarian we have here. She's the third known child of An Chisam, also known as An Chang-ho. And so they lived in Los Angeles. Her father died in 1938 after being arrested by the Japanese occupying Korea at the time. So he had been transferred to the Keijo Imperial University Hospital. In 1940, the family had moved to Los Angeles, or was in Los Angeles. And then she enlisted in the United States Armed Forces after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and enrolled in the U.S. Naval Reserve Midshipmen's School at Smith College, becoming the first Asian American woman in the Navy, and also the first female Navy gunnery officer.
Wow.
Yeah. And then she passed away in 2015, just 5 months, 8 days after her 100th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a picture of her there. Lovely. Hannah Lincoln, love.
That is that is your closest.
Is it
21 degrees?
21? Yeah.
And of course, it's going to go up through. Wait, I didn't do that right. You're going to go up through your mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So she received the rank of lieutenant, or she's American, right? So lieutenant colonel. Notice the Australian was a lieutenant.
Yeah,
the nurse was a lieutenant.
I noticed that. I didn't comment on it because you're Canadian. So.
Yeah, exactly. But she was a lieutenant colonel in the American Army. She married Robert Love, who was an Air Corps Reserve major. They built their own aviation company. So she was she was a pilot. She and her friend Betty Gillies were the first women to fly the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress heavy bomber. And they were set to ferry a B-17 named the Queen Bee to England, but their flight was canceled. So she was called to active duty as the munitions building. She worked there for a bit, and then eventually she was called up. They suggested that the women could ferry aircrafts back and forth from the factories to the military airfields because they needed someone to take these planes there, and so that's where she became part of that. She was named a commander.
Big deal. That was a big deal.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Because a lot of those aircraft hadn't been flight tested.
So it wasn't. It was a little scary.
It was.
That's right. So she became part of the Women's Auxiliary Ferry pilots and then the Women's Air Force Service pilots, the WAFs, or the WASP as they were known. And she was the first woman to be certified to fly the North American P-51 Mustang, the C-54, the B-25 Mitchell, and along with Betty Gillies, the B-17 Flying Fortress. So those who know about military aircraft, that means something. I'm reading the words.
P-51 was like a Mustang of the, it was a muscle. It was a muscle car.
A muscle car in the sky. Yeah. So after the war, she continued to work on air transport. So that's neat. And set a record for being the first woman in aviation to make a flight around the world. So she did what Amelia Earhart was trying to do then, I guess. Oh.
Yep.
Very neat.
We don't have a lot of people saying who they're related to in the chat, which surprises me. I did post Eowyn says she loves Steve McQueen.
Nice. Yeah. The last one is Captain Joseph John Roquefort. And he was born on the 12th of May, 1900 in Dayton, Ohio. Passed away at the age of 76, July 1976. Torrance.
And that happens to be my closest.
Oh, neat.
We had to wait a long time for us to get
Yes, we did. Sorry for that.
But that's okay.
More cryptography, more spy work here. Naval cryptographic and intelligence operations officer whose contributions were pivotal to the victory in the Pacific War in the World War II. Yeah, born in 1900. So he served as a naval officer, cryptanalyst.
Good job.
Cryptanalyst. I think that's how you'd say it. Cryptanalyst. And an analyst on cryptography. He's a cryptographic analyst.
And that's not studying ancient Egypt crypts.
No, not that type of crypt. but
is that where that name came about? Because the cryptograms and stuff.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh. Yes. Very cool.
Tell us the etymology of that one.
Yes, that's right. Oh, there's another rabbit hole to jump down, but I'm going to try and we'll let one of our people in the chat jump down that rabbit hole.
I'm not going off on that one.
Yeah, that's right. He served in Station H, Station Hypo for Hawaii, in Pearl Harbor. He was an expert Japanese linguist, and that's not easy to do.
No.
And a trained cryptanalyst. He was denied access to diplomatic messages sent in purple, the highest level, in the months before the Japanese attack. I wonder if he had access, if he could have prevented something. One wonders.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, his efforts were particularly useful in the Battle of Midway and pivotal to their victory. Passed away in Los Angeles. There we go. And those are your profiles of the week. Very interesting stories.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That is so good. I really enjoy listening to you talk about the profile of the week. You and Chris have a shared. Oh, look! What is this? What is this?
Alan's joining us.
What are you doing, Alan?
Hi.
Hi.
I just like your faces. So
there you go. Well, we were getting ready to share the last bit of information, which has something to do with you. Would you rather talk about what's coming up in the week?
Oh, you go for it.
Okay. We've got stuff coming up in the what's happening around December post in G2G that Eowyn, the tiny little elf there. What's happening around WikiTree? Well, we got a lot of stuff happening around WikiTree. We're right here right now, and it's what's today, the 10th? No.
9th.
The 9th. On the 9th of December, there we are, Saturday Roundup. We've got new member Q&A. I think Az put that link up earlier, or maybe Eowyn did. The Data Doctors Challenge is coming up. The German Stammtisch is coming up on the 14th, and then we have the weekend chat and the Friday night date night with Julie. Woo-hoo. And then again, Saturday Roundup. Got other stuff going on, month-long challenges. Appalachia. Make Appalachia shine. Like, that's it. If you don't know, that's a play on moonshine. Just get some corn mash in there and
moonshine.
Bio builders. Okay, yeah, I know. People who were married in December. Canada's special year-end challenge. That stuff's going on. U.S. Black Heritage Project Notables is being worked on. The Connectors, Jedi, Germany Connectors, German Notables, Iceland Project Mini Challenge. The Integrators are working on stuff. Notables, TV USA reruns, Notables Sports Sledders. The Sorcerers have a month-long challenge, as does the Black Heritage U.S. Black Heritage. They're doing connecting as well as the U.S. or ongoing events. We will rock you. That is something that Betsy's working on. And upcoming, we've got a Connect-a-thon coming up. January 19th to the 22nd. I will be there connecting.
Yes.
Will you be there? I will be there. Roots Techs coming up February 29th through March the 2nd. WikiTree has a booth there, so bring your orange shirt and get ready to have a picture taken if you can wander by the booth and say hi and do some hugging. And the Connect-a-thon, the second one, or the Connect-a-thon will be in April 12th to the 15th. We've got other stuff that we want to talk about too.
And Secret Santa, that list.
And Secret Santa. Well, you already covered that.
I already talked about it, but we should add that to the list of what's happening.
Oh, we should.
Definitely.
We should. So that is your WikiTree, and as has the stuff up in the social media area. If you've never been able to find that, check out WikiTree. Just go to WikiTree, go to Find, go down to Projects. Once that opens, let's see if that takes me there. Go down and find the Ambassadors Project. Here we go. Click on that. Then click into the Ambassadors Project. Scroll down to the little tabs, social media, and you can find the places and find the links for sharing information for this week. And you can also find out a little bit more information. Hollenbeck is our one name study of the week. Oh, now, okay. Für Schleswig Holstein is the one place study. Wonder where that is.
I
And
guess in Germany somewhere.
Project Showcase. Project. So if you want to share any of these links and get the word out, share some of your WikiTree love, please do that. See, there's the new member Q&A. You can get that out. So that is our. Did you want to actually say something, or did you just actually come in and just want to look pretty?
I'm just here to look pretty.
It's nice to have you, Eowyn.
Yeah,
hey, I just finished my semester, so I'm like a little bit brain dead.
Oh, congratulations!
She's brain dead, so she thought she'd come in with us. What does that say?
How many end of term essays did you have to do?
You guys just make me smile. Actually, I have one more to finish today, but I had a couple of my classes had projects for this week, and then I had 2 finals, and then I have a paper.
All right, Lisa Gervais. Cryptology comes from the ancient Greek words for hidden or secret, to write or study.
So to study hidden secrets.
Thank you very much, Lisa. All right, let's hit that thumbs up button. Like us, people, like us. And we're going to say au revoir.
Au
and
revoir
have a
from Finnegan.
great week. Hey, Finnegan. Bye, Finnegan. Bye, Alan.
Bye.
Bye.